10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, this is Don, technical evangelist with DevExpress, and today we will be streaming all about DevExtreme. With me is Gregory. Gregory, how are you?
I'm doing well. Today I'm finally streaming out of my own office.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, I see those little orange suckers over there. I've got some
Yeah,
as well on the back.
these little guys.
Right there, my finger next to Chewbacca. I've got them as well. All
Yeah,
right,
these little orange things, we used to give them away.
yeah,
We have
yeah,
like
they're
a giant pile at the office.
Yeah, I know. I took some. So, but anyway, you are going to be building on the stuff that you set up in the previous stream, which is our DX Cloud virtual website, basically. So, yeah, what are you going to do today?
Well, today we have a couple things planned. So, as you can see on my screen, we have these pages that we created last week. And last week we created this sort of accordion here. That's what we ended with.
Yeah,
I'm not going to add anything new to this page. I just left it kind of with some text because again, we're just showing off the accordion, not really how to create some kind of card in here. So I thought we would move on from that, and instead I'm going to move on to this products page, this contact page, and also if we have time, I'm going to get started on our user side of the website on our dashboard and
cool.
get set up with a side panel over there.
All right. Well, I would say take it away.
Awesome. So I'll just jump into our code here, and hopefully that's big enough and everyone can see that.
Yeah, if you could put it up slightly bigger, that would be great, I guess.
Yeah, I can do that. Give me a second. There, that's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
Okay.
awesome.
So what I'm gonna do on this products page is we already have this general layout here with our Tailwind classes here and these two divs, and that creates that sort of slight uh, color difference
Oh yeah.
in this page. So we have that slight border around here. And so we don't really have to do much. All we really need to do is add a few things. So underneath this H1, I'm going to come in here and add a p tag with a class name of padding y-8 text-xl, and this is just the font size.
Yeah, and this is all Tailwind, right?
Yeah, font-bold. And in here, I'm going to say we offer a variety of products. And that's pretty simple. And I'll add a little bit more products to meet your needs, something like that.
Yeah, that's the cream on the pie.
And it's already starting to give me some suggestions, but that's not what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to say div class name equals medium grid dash calls dash 3. So that'll be 3 columns on a medium screen.
Oh yeah.
And margin in the X direction of 10 in the medium screen. And the reason why I'm specifying a medium screen is because on a small screen, it'll already inherit the flex from above here.
Okay, and
And
that,
I don't want, and I'm changing it so on the medium
yeah.
screen, so it's a grid instead.
But that MX, that means that MX10, that means that it's got like a padding on the left and on the right, basically.
Yeah, margin in the X direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it could have been margin horizontal too.
Yeah.
And in here, we're gonna leave it for now. I'm gonna jump up here, and I'm gonna say import product card from components/product card. And I'll create this in a second. So in our components folder up here, I'm going to create this product card. So I'm going to say product card.tsx. Open this up. And in here, I'm going to say import button from DevExtreme React/button. I'm going to create a type for this card. So I'm going to say type product card props, which has a name, which is a string,
Oh yeah, you were running in TypeScript. Yeah.
yeah, and so it's going to have a name, a price, which is a number, and an image URL, which is a string. And it looks like that font change kind of messed something up, so I'll fix that right now. There we go. That looks a little bit better.
Oh yeah.
Has a little bit more space between the lines. So now I'm going to say const product card equals, I'll just leave this empty for now. And inside these parameters here, I'm going to say props, which is product card props type here. So ignore this error, just saying it's not used yet, which it isn't. And this type will let us use our props without any issue, so it won't give us any warnings. That being said, you can set it as an any type, but this is kind of the better practice. If we're using TypeScript, we might as well use it. And so in our return here, we're going to say div with the class name of justify center. So our card is going to be centered. Item center. So all the text and all that will be in the center of the page. So this is both in the X and Y direction. It'll be in the middle of whatever we put this in. Add a medium shadow and a background of 141 E28. And this is just that same background color I've been using everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Rounded dash large, so this will just give us rounded edges to our card. Padding dash 4 and margin dash 4. And we'll open this up. Inside here, I'm going to add an h2 with a class name of text-xl, font-bold, text-center, and padding bottom 4. And in here, we can say props.name. So this will get this name from this props that we pass in.
Oh yeah.
And then down here, we're going to need another div. So, and this is going to have a class name of flex. Justify center, item center. Again, just keep repeating
I
myself.
checked the items. You made a typo in the items center.
There we go. Thank you. And we say image source is props.image URL. And we're going to give it a class name of rounded-md, so it has a slight rounded edge, w-90%, so it's almost the full width. And we'll close that tag with the self-close right there. There we go. Underneath this, we'll add another p tag with a class name of padding-4 again. Text-large, text-left, and this will be props.description.
For that to work, you probably need to add that to the, oh yeah.
And I just forgot what this was for a second. This is string. There we go.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to add a button. And this is a DevExtreme button. So the text will just say learn more. I'm going to add a class name of margin y-4. Type is default. And the styling mode is going to be outlined. And all these different options you can check out in our documentation. We have all these listed out there, and so you can see what they do and all the different options like outlined, or the type can be default or secondary or whatever.
Yeah, and you can actually test it out on our demo site as well to see how it looks.
There. Fix that little typo there. And that's it for this page. So I'll jump back into our products page. And our products card is defined but never used, so we are seeing it.
Yeah.
So in here, I'm going to go ahead and start adding our cards. And this looks correct. Copilot will take care of this boilerplate for me.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
in here, I'm just going to pass these various variables. And this is just from this array up here that I created. And this is just going to use some random images rather than anything specific. Of course, I don't really have any images for this. So that'll be just interesting to see how it looks with an image rather than one that actually makes sense for the site. But this should be working, and it is.
All right.
And so we have our heading, our p tag right here. We have that description. We have these learn more buttons down here, which I didn't connect to anything. Theoretically, we'd have more pages that connect to here, or perhaps an expanding sort of bottom piece here or something like that. But these images pop up here, and I just decided it would be interesting to see these like nice landscape pictures. So I just stuck with that. But yeah,
Yeah. Ah, that looks cool.
I mean, this one in the middle kind of looks like the Netherlands, huh?
No, man, too many mountains.
Too many
We're
mountains.
flat.
Maybe the one on the left.
We have a couple of humps, but I mean, it's not really like that mountain.
Uh, not flat enough.
No, we are completely flat, except for the traffic bumps on the road, but the rest is just flat.
Nice. So that pretty much takes care of this product page for us.
Yeah, and if you resize this window, then those blocks will be rearranged or something.
Yes. So hopefully you can see that where
Yeah,
now these cards are in a line rather than in a grid. And
yeah,
as we pass by that medium
yeah.
size, it changes. So at this point, we would probably want to specify exactly what we mean by medium, which you can with Tailwind, where you can say like, okay, this is the actual size medium should be rather than their
Yeah.
stock. But again, that's not really necessary for us today.
I do get a question in the chat, by the way. Elliot is asking, are you using the React router? I can't remember. Did you?
Yes. So if I jump into my app file here, you can see I'm importing the routes and route from React Router
Oh, yeah.
DOM. I have these pages that I'm importing, and here are all the routes that I'm using.
Cool.
Yeah, and it looks like I can't find it through there. Oh, because it's called main, if I can't remember. And right here we have this browser router from React Router DOM surrounding our app component.
Yeah.
And I just did this, app wide. Like I mentioned in the previous streams, it's not everything I do is best practice. I'm just trying to make it as simple and easy as possible, just so we can get through it quickly. And so what we'll do now is we'll move on to creating our contact form.
All right. So that's going to be with that layout control that we have, I guess.
This is just kind of what I just copied and pasted. So just
Okay.
inside here, I'm just going to say contact form because I want to create this in another file. And I'm say import it from components, and I'll just create that file right now. And inside this file, I'm going to say import use ref and form event from React. I'm going to say import form and item label button item button options. From DevExtreme React / form. So I'll just go ahead and import all that stuff. And we have another question.
Yeah, while you were importing, I was just reading it. Yeah, thanks. I created an app using the DevExtreme Create React App tool, and it used the hash router instead of the router that you were just showing. So
Yeah, the
beautiful. Why did
default
you?
template uses the hash router.
Yeah,
It's just a different choice. I mean, you can just read up the React docs. There are multiple ways of doing it. Using the browser router is a simpler and easier way to do it. The hash router has more options, if I remember correctly. And because our app is, we try to make it a template, so we try and make it have as many sort of predefined features as possible. If you notice, when
yeah,
we have our own, custom hooks for logging in and all that stuff. So it's a lot more complicated. Um, that app was created with Create React app. So that's also slightly different because it's using Webpack by default. So
yeah.
yeah,
That
that's
is a
just a
bit of
couple
a
things to
thing.
note.
That's a bit of a thing with the JavaScript ecosystem. I mean, there are the frameworks, and then there are, yeah, when time changes, there are better ways, or there are different ways of doing things, and yeah, we try to keep up to date with our tooling, obviously, but yeah, it is not always possible to create like another selection, like I want to use this router or that router, and there is just too many things to pick from. And yeah, I guess that I can say that we always try to use the stuff at that moment, which is used by the community, basically. So that's probably the reason why that is the case, Elliot. All right, so you are
So now I'm going to go ahead and just
I'm
create
working
a,
on the form data.
yeah, I'm going to create this type for us.
Yeah.
And this is correct. I'm going to go ahead and just create our component here. So in here, let's put in our return, our export statement right there. And up here, I'm just going to say const form data equals use ref contact form data, and this is correct. However, in here, I'm actually going to give it some values. So I'm just going to leave it blank, empty strings for now. And I'm just going to go ahead and
I
write
get
a
another
simple.
question here. I'm not sure what we have to do with that, but what is a good VPN to use? Well, I guess that's not really our, because we are building this virtual store, so we are not building a real store here. I
Say
guess it would be better.
VPN?
Yeah, what's a good VPN to use? I get
I don't
that
know.
question from
NordVPN.
yeah, VPN. I mean, there's plenty of options there, and I mean, some browsers even incorporate a VPN. So I think that's beyond the scope of this stream, basically. So please continue, Gregory, on the forum. What did you do all the way there? Oh,
So I just created this on submit function here just so we can test it out.
yeah.
And this is using this form event, which I imported up here from React. And this is just, again, for our typing. This doesn't really matter. We could say any as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, we want to do it properly. Of course, it's
And
funny with TypeScript, you can say any, so it doesn't actually mean anything.
well, I guess also if you do any, then the code completion in the editor will not be as precise as if you specify that HTML form event, because in that case, the your editor will now know what it should expect.
Yeah, that's true. So I'm just going to go ahead and create this H1 for us. I'm just going to say contact us, and this will just be above our form. And say form on submit equals on submit. And this is just a regular HTML form tag. And inside here, I'm going to add our DevExtreme form. I'm going to say form data equals form data.current, and this is that form data ref that I just created.
Oh yeah.
Show colon after label, I'm going to say false. I just don't like how that colon shows up after the label. I'm not the biggest fan.
Yeah. I mean, 1,000 people, 1,000 flavors, right?
Yeah, I'm going to say show required mark is false, and the required mark is just that little star next to the label, like the little asterisk.
I do get another question, which is interesting, I guess. Elliot asks, where are all the class names coming from in IntelliSense? Is it creating that list based on a CSS file loaded into the project? I guess that we can answer that in two ways. I mean, you're using Tailwind and you're using Copilot, right?
Yeah, so Tailwind, these are all built in.
Yeah.
So for example, this text-4XL, this just corresponds to a built-in Tailwind class. And font-bold, again, it's the same thing. Again, it's like Bootstrap. The only difference is with Tailwind is they're not pre-styled.
Yeah.
So why just using it just so it doesn't interfere with our DevExtreme styling?
Yeah. But I mean, I guess that if you create like a div or whatever, and you specify the class and you enter class name behind it, and you open up the class name, it will show a list of assumptions. I think that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I
these
think that's
just become
Copilot.
CSS when they're sort of compiled, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I think that the editor able to read those classes from Tailwind or
No, sadly, no. You have to go to the Tailwind docs for that, I'm afraid. I
okay.
think there's a VS Code extension, I think, that can sort of show that. It kind of shows it as like a little drop down, like that little window that pops up, but it doesn't, it's not that accurate, I don't think. Sometimes it doesn't show it, and yeah,
Yeah,
but
so I guess that the code predictions that IntelliSense is doing is pretty much all to do with Copilot as well, I guess.
yeah, I'm just using Copilot here. If
Yeah.
anyone's curious about my editor, I'm developing this app on a remote server. VS Code is not my favorite. It's pretty slow in my opinion. So this is NeoVim for any of you Linux people out there, and I'm basically using uh, a TypeScript React sort of language server
Yeah.
that a guy created, you know, back into the open source world. And I'm using TS server, so the TypeScript language server, which is the same thing VS Code uses.
Yep.
That's really the secret behind VS Code is using good language servers developed, by legitimate people like Microsoft. Otherwise, TypeScript is not really a language. It's a linter on top of JavaScript, really.
Yeah, it's typically a transpiler is what it's called officially, I think.
Yeah, it just becomes JavaScript regardless. And so let's get back to creating this form here. So this form right here, I'm just going to go ahead and create some items inside it. I'm going to say item data field equals name. Editor type equals DX text box. And inside here, I'm going to say required rule message name is required, which is fine. And label is name. Underneath here, it entered it in for us already. So again, we have our data field as email, and this data field is a property of this item component, and this just corresponds to our form data ref up here. And so we just have the name, the email, and in the case of the email, we have an email rule as well as a required rule. So the required rule will just tell us that we have to put something in the box. The email rule will tell us it has to be a valid email, so it has to be in the correct format of an email. So I'm gonna add a button item just so we can have our submit button. And inside here, I'm gonna say button options. I'm gonna say our width is 100%. So we'll go all the way across the form. Type is default. And use submit behavior is true. And so this will just allow us to submit when we click the button, and it'll just access this on submit function up here. And we're going to just say submit inside the button. And I misspelled that. There we go.
Yep.
And if we jump back, this should be working. If we go to our contact page, and it is.
Oh, yeah.
We have our name and email, and we will add our message box as well. So just under here, under this item right here, I'm going to say item, data field is message, and editor type is DX text area. And we also have our required rule, our label, and that's it. And this DX text area, I imported separately as well. So import up here. However, it is part of the form. It's kind of confusing. The text area is sort of like a separate component, but it isn't at the same time. It's kind of weird. But, this is, again, I just got this from our demos. So if any confusion, just check out a demo. There's probably an example of what you're looking for there. And so we jump back here, we can see our message box here as well. And again, like I think I probably forgot to mention it at the beginning, but this is the Fluent Design theme, of course. And so we can see we have these sort of Fluent Design, sort of acrylic looking boxes here.
Yeah, that looks extremely cool.
Yeah, so we have that sort of very much that sort of new Outlook, Microsoft Office kind of look for anyone that's using the new Outlook out there, which I'm not, but anyway. I don't know if you know this, Don, but they're going to be using or adding Copilot to all the 365 apps as well.
Yeah, I can't wait how that will look. Probably I need one keystroke to answer an email. So let's see how that works. I have to say that I recently installed Copilot inside Visual Studio as well. And yeah, it's saving me some occasional work every now and then. I mean, not all the time. It's the same with you. I mean, some predictions are just not what you want, but yeah, some of them are quite easy.
Yeah. The thing with Copilot is it's really good once you start typing.
Yeah.
The problem is it doesn't really know how to generate things correctly unless you kind of tell it where to go. So that's just one of the things that's kind of annoying about it. But it's great for boilerplate stuff, some stuff that you have to type in over and over again. It really
Yeah.
makes it fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it has some cool. It came up with some cool suggestions for my code as well. So that was interesting to see. But as you said as well, it's not all the time right, and you should definitely double check what it is doing.
Yeah, so in here, I'm just going to add this other options equals message options right here. And I'm going to go down below our component and I'm going to add this message options uh, object here. And I'm just going to say the height is 100. And this will just make that text box a little bit bigger. So this is just slightly bigger size
Oh,
now. We could also add other options like placeholders in here. I just left it with the labels.
yeah,
Yeah, and we have our submit button, and I don't know, we can actually try it. So if I hit the button, it'll give us this alert that I specified in our on submit function. Of course, we would connect it to our backend. And we can see we do have this object down here that we log to the console, which is what we put in there. It's hard to see. Also, it's a good time to note, actually, I keep forgetting to do it, is that we have this message down here. I doubt anyone can see that,
yeah.
but
It's really small. I
yeah,
mean,
but
I
it's
need to
just
get
this
past.
little DevExtreme message saying that you're using a trial version of
Oh yeah,
DevExtreme and so on. Um, yeah, there's a way to sort of create like a licensed environment variable so you don't see this message anymore.
okay.
Obviously, I'm not doing that here because you know no one's going to complain about licensing for me. So
Now, well, at least I don't.
yeah. Okay. And so we have some time left. Hopefully, I can get through it. Um, what we need to do is add a new page called dashboard.tsx. We'll open this up. And I'm just going to say cost dashboard. And we'll just leave it like that for now. Export that. And in our app, we need to import that dashboard. and add it to the routes. And if we jump into our login form here, I changed it just off screen. So we navigate to dashboard right here. Previously, I had it navigating to the home page, but I changed this to dashboard so we can sort of simulate like someone's logging in and it's going to their dashboard.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool.
I'm not putting any real auth in the front end. So we can get to the dashboard whenever we want. We don't need to have it authenticated, but I thought I'd just add that, anyway. So now if we go to our dashboard, we should be able to get there. So for example, if I hit login, and there we go.
There it is. Yep.
So it is working. But on our dashboard, what we want is we want more options to navigate. So kind of like we see with Azure or most like cloud sort of services, we want a side panel instead of a top nav. Actually, we'll also have a top nav too. We'll have both, but it'll give us a lot more options.
So you're going to use one of the DevExtreme components for that?
Yes. So I'm just going to paste over some of these imports. So we're going to import React, use state, use memo, and use callback. Use navigate from React Router DOM. Drawer. This is the key right here is these two.
Yeah,
Drawer
that's
and toolbar.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. And these are again from DevExtreme-React. And also we're going to be using list. And the list is just so we can have a list inside the drawer. So these are basically going to be all our nav links inside the drawer.
Okay.
And item click event is just so we can, have the proper typing. And like I mentioned last week, this comes from DevExtreme/UI/list rather than DevExtreme React because this is universal to all of our JavaScript controls.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And so the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in this navigation array. And this will just have some simple things like the text, the icon, and the path. This icon here is actually one of our DevExtreme icons. So I specified the DevExtreme icon in here. So I can just pass that along. And that's just because I'm going to be doing it. I think it's easier to have an array like this rather than having it hard coded in everywhere, just in case we need to use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Generally, when it comes to web development, I'm kind of anti having, lots of reusable components. I almost prefer having things more hard coded than not, just because I find it's difficult to read. If you just have to like jump all over the place in many different files, having bigger files, I'm not that against, honestly. But in this case, it's a lot easier just to have it like this. And so up here in our dashboard, I'm going to say const navigate equals use navigate. Const opened and set opened is equal to use state. And I'm just going to set this to true because I want the drawer to be opened when we first get to the page.
Oh yeah.
And I'm going to create this other thing. So this is sort of a little bit more JavaScript-y, which is we're going to get this window size. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to say react.use memo. And did I import use memo? I did. And because I'm going to be using a ref actually here, it's going to be window dot inner width and window dot inner height. And this will sort of just give us these the width and height of the page, and we're going to be needing that in a second. And we'll go ahead and get started on our return here. So we don't need to add anything to our div there. What we need to do is say toolbar items equals toolbar items and class name equals shadow-md. And this is for our top toolbar, which we'll see in a second. I need to add our toolbar options. And we're going to be using use memo. And this is all from our documentation again. And I accidentally add the curly brace instead of the square bracket.
Yeah.
And the braces go in here. The widget is going to be a DX button. Location is going to be before, so this is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen. And options, icon is menu, and the on-click event is set open to true. And in here, we're going to need some arguments, which I just forgot about. So it's going to need opened, set opened, log out, which I'll create in a second, and navigate. That's basically just what we're going to be using inside this use memo. And so the icon is going to be menu. So this is going to be that hamburger menu. And so this is just going to be on the left-hand side, left corner of the screen. And this is just so we can open and close our drawer.
All right.
And so down here, I'm going to add another object. So the widget's going to be DX button. Location is going to be before. And it's going to take some options. And the icon is going to be home. Styling mode is going to be text. It's going to have a text of home and on click of navigate.
Quite okay. That was a good prediction, I guess.
Yeah, navigate. I'm just going to say navigate to / because if we click that button, this button right here, the idea is it'll take us to the home page of the site rather than to the home of the dashboard. Anyway, because there's no other way to get there from the dashboard the way I'm setting this up.
Yeah.
And this looks correct. And actually, I'm just going to say this is log out, which I'll just create that function here. And I have to specify the use callback hook here just because I'm using this inside a use memo.
Okay.
And inside our dependency array, we're going to say navigate. And here, we're going to say not open. Okay.
Oh yeah. So it will toggle actually.
Yeah. And so if we go to our dashboard, we should see our toolbar up here.
Yep. And the logout button.
Yep. And if I hit the logout button, it'll take us back home.
Cool.
So yeah. And I'll jump back to our dashboard. And of course, I can go back and forth between the home and the dashboard, even though I click the log out, my token's gone, all that, but it still works. And so this basically concludes for today. I mean, we're kind of out of time. So I'll do the
I'm
actual
just being
side panel.
curious here. I'm being curious. Can you put that drawer in, or is that still a bit of work? Without any
Some,
content,
I
but
could
just
do it.
flip
I
it
mean,
open.
hopefully maybe I can do it fast enough. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of minutes. We started a bit later, so we have a couple of minutes.
So yeah, I'll go ahead and put in this drawer. So I'll say open is open, and it's that state variable.
Yeah.
Open state mode, I'm going to say overlap. And this is just some of the design features.
Yeah, you can actually decide whether it should push the content or it would just go over it like you've specified, I think. And
Yeah.
I think there is another one. But yeah, check out our demo site for it. It's got it all covered.
Yeah, I'm going to say the reveal mode is slide. So it'll just slide in and out.
Oh yeah. Sweet.
Rather than sort of like growing. Just a different kind of look. I think it looks a little bit better. And I'm going to say height is window size dot current, and it'll be that second element of that array I created.
Yeah, but you put in an extra W, yeah.
So the component is going to be navigation menu, which I'll create in a second.
Yeah. That's the component being hosted in the drawer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. A nice little color.
And this is just for a background color so we can see the drawer.
Yeah.
And
It's getting a bit upset.
oops. There we go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to create that component down here. And I'm just going to say const navigate is use navigate. This looks right.
Oh, that was quick.
I need to fix this. So
Oh yeah.
for our list, we're going to say our data source is navigation. That's correct. Hover state enabled. I'm going to say false. Or actually, we know we can say true. That might be a little bit better for this. Active state enabled. We're going to say false. We'll leave that as it is. Selection mode. That's correct.
Yeah, it looks like it might run.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I just need to add a div above this.
Oh yeah.
So the class name is going to be background -141 E28. Minimum height is full. And this is just, I just have to add a regular CSS style here. And we'll just leave that as 250 pixels for now. I'll add our div at the bottom there.
Yeah.
And this should work. And it does.
Oh wow, it works. Excellent. Yeah, that looks pretty cool.
So I got
Nice
that. I got
job.
through
Yeah,
that pretty quick, huh?
that went indeed pretty quick.
Yeah, it's one of the things with DevExtreme. It's pretty easy to get a lot done quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And
So I mean,
obviously a good editor as well. And you probably missed it, but there was a bit of a discussion on the chat channel on the editors. I mean, there was Elliot using Codium because he likes that one, and other people are using VS Code, obviously. And I mean, as I mentioned earlier in the stream, 1,000 people, 1,000 flavors. So there is editors for everybody.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
check a
like
new one out every
Codium
now.
too. Codium is good. It gets rid of a lot of the bloat, so that's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, but it's nice to every now and then to check a new one out to see if it makes your work any easier. So,
Yeah,
but cool stuff for this stream. I think that we were right on time, including
yeah,
the drawer, hamburger menu,
yeah. This is
the
yeah. I mean, the
dashboards.
drawer is really nice and easy, and we have this separate color, and we can see it with our top toolbar here.
Yeah,
We have all our DevExtreme icons. Yeah, and so next week, what we'll do is inside this dashboard here,
yeah,
what we'll do is we'll create sort of an actual dashboard with some charts and some other cool stuff in here that is really the strong suit of DevExtreme, which is those complicated UI elements.
yeah. Particularly our charts on in DevExtreme are extremely performant, and they have some really sweet features for sure. So yeah, looking forward to the next one. I think that we don't have any questions at the end right now. So yeah, thank you for sharing this, Gregory, and we'll be online next week. Next Tuesday, Amanda and Eric will be talking about um, reporting on Maui, I think. I'm pretty sure. Next Wednesday, you're back. And the week after, on Tuesday, I will be talking about Blazor, and I will also combine DevExtreme into a Blazor application. So that's going to be cool as well. So
Yeah,
thank you for watching.
and Don, if
And
you could see over my shoulder,
yeah,
that little screen back there.
yeah, yeah. What
So
is that?
that's our current subscriber count for YouTube or view count on there right now.
Nice.
So just a little reminder to everyone to subscribe, follow us, all that stuff.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, like the channel, subscribe to it, and make sure you're back next week, starting on Tuesday, same time. Thank you for watching, and till next time. Thank you.